What's up, everybody? It's your girl, it's the boys. All sorts of things are happening on the show today.
Welcome to the show.
It'll be a good time.
If you like what you hear,
Are you ready?
you can find us on Underbelly Hours,
All sorts
on all the socials, where you get your favorite local takes on the local greats.
Here it comes, ready? Sing it with us. So yeah, we're here today with Demi Clara. She's our lovely guest for this episode. Fantastic singer, songwriter, guitarist,
radio host
of another amazing show on
just
WNC.
a gem of a human being.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Oh my god, I'm just like, I can't even talk. I know that's the point of a podcast, but I can't even say anything. You guys are so sweet, and I look up to both of you. So this is such an honor to be here.
Right,
And your kind words.
Thanks for being on here. I think that is a wrap for us. Thanks for tuning in.
You forgot to say, like, I'm also a super fan of both of you. The Underbelly Hours, and I've been for not just a musician, and a radio host, but I'm also like a huge fan and supporter of your show. You guys do so much to support the scene, and everyone knows you guys for how much you contribute. So, hell yeah.
Well, we could say the same for you. I think we're all just working together, so
we're all
making
just trying to
scene.
make this a big happy place for everyone to get along and share some tunes and get rich and famous. Because that's why you make music.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
to
honestly
sell
why
out.
I'm here.
If you are making music, I mean, what, for like self-expression?
No.
To deal with your demons? No.
Oh
No,
God!
no.
What a
There's nothing
poser.
therapeutic about music. It actually
It's
it
a
caused me
product.
to go into therapy. Being a musician.
I mean, oh man.
It's actually it's actually like a complementary industry to the
Mental health.
field.
In any case, but okay, so obviously we know you. We love you. Let's introduce you to our audience, though, because maybe there's people out there who don't know who you are. In order to do this, we have to do whenever our guests first appear on the podcast, they always have to do this game.
Which is crazy that it's been this long.
Right?
That
And
she
she
hasn't
hasn't
been on the
been
show.
on the
This is her
podcast.
first.
I always
we've hung out.
have wanted to. I just know with schedules because my show is on Sunday nights too.
Oh, that's
so.
why we couldn't do it for a long
Yeah.
time because
when we were on
WRSC.
we were like on the same time.
I don't know if it's allowed.
We were,
I would
right
always be
before.
like, listen to Underbelly Hours, but I'm like on air. Like we start, but like right before we start, you guys have I think a little room before we go on. So like always trying to be like, there's so many more avenues for people to support local music other than just us because we're only once a week, but you guys put out content all the time. So that's pretty awesome.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, that makes sense. That's why we weren't able to get you on
Yeah.
before. All right, but you're on now for the first time, so you have to play the synthesis game.
Okay.
The synthesis game is a game where we're going to ask you 3 questions about your music that are a little bit more interesting than just what's your influence and all that kind of stuff.
It will
Where did you get
ask
your
you
band
to
name?
describe your music in non-musical terms.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's an excuse for us to ask you stupid questions.
That's very
I love these kind of questions, like BuzzFeed questions.
Yeah, pretty much.
pretty much.
I love this.
And
Like BuzzFeed quiz me. Do it.
At the end of it all, we're going to play one of your songs, too.
Okay.
So,
Is BuzzFeed still a thing?
BuzzFeed's still a thing.
I feel like they really
It's my
tanked
guilty pleasure.
a bit.
Uh,
Are they?
Sometimes
I
they're
still-
still okay, but it's so hit and miss. They have so many people writing for
I
them.
know they
that
just fell back to listicles for a
Yeah.
while.
I don't
that was the
really go
only
to
thing they
them
were-
for any credible content. It's more like
Yeah.
if I want to know according to my zodiac what character from the Bible I am or something. So I don't even know. But it's just something really random. I go just because to pass the time. But
Yeah,
I
also
give it
go,
that.
they have some good list articles that have tweets.
Yeah,
I don't have
listicles.
I don't have Twitter, so
Come on,
I'm not
get
gonna
with
get
the
a Twitter.
vocabulary.
Yeah.
Anyway, BuzzFeed is still a thing. Yes. Okay, so let's get into the quiz.
Sorry, this is an episode of digressions.
This will be. So would you like to start, Dan, or should I start? I feel like I've been starting these a lot. Do you want
Yeah,
to
okay,
start?
that's fair. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm sorry. Jeez.
This is really great cooperation that you guys have.
It's all on the fly. We're very professionally non-professional.
Yeah. We also talk. We see each other way too much,
Unprofessional.
so
Yeah.
it's just this.
I'm sick of you.
I'm truly. Yeah.
I have so much. I
The only
have so
person I'm
many
more
questions
sick of than her is me.
about the Underbelly hours, like after hours, like just your friendship when you're not on here. Like I have so many questions about that. Like can we just make this, can we make this about you guys, please? Because I don't want to talk about myself.
I mean, it's very similar to On Air. It's a lot of me throwing her under the bus.
It's true.
Laughing at
Me
how she
freaking out.
mispronounces things.
Can you blink once if you're unsafe?
No, it's just like it's a lot of Dan has like a darker
Like to
sense of
tease.
humor, and
really
I like to freak out unnecessarily over everything. Because
I feel like
I'm
like
too type A.
a combination of both.
So.
Like you guys are my parents. Like I'm a combination of both of you. when I hear about this, but no, this is a little honestly. Like just to be like vulnerable and open for a second. This is very like uncomfortable for me. Not like because you guys are the both best interviewers, but it's more like I'm not used to being on the side. I'm always the one asking questions. So like the fact that I'm like, oh gosh, I have to answer questions.
Get ready.
Oh gosh,
Strap in.
I'm always the interviewer, never the interviewee. So this is really interesting. This is cool.
Cool.
If
Question
your
number one.
music was an automobile, what type of automobile would it be?
This is hard.
Or if you're not a cars person, it could be like a bike
Yeah.
or a trike or like a moped.
Is
What?
it trike? What? Oh, like a tricycle. Is that like what the cool people call it? I
Well,
don't know
yeah,
that.
I mean, come on.
Duh.
You're not going to call one of those old Harley guys and the three-wheelers, you're not going to call them tricycles.
Now it's a trike.
It's a trike, man. Check out my trike.
Oh, I named my first child.
I can't
that
keep
name.
balance anymore because of
That's a
80, but I
great
still
name.
want to wear the Harley jacket.
Man, I actually started driving a little later in life because of anxiety. So I'm starting to get used to cars because I actually just got into a car accident and have to buy a new car. So I'm getting to learn more about cars
Good
because
luck.
I'm very not literate on the subject, but I don't even know what it's called, but I could describe it. I think of what it looks like.
A razor scooter.
You know, I really hope I don't hurt people's ankles with my music as much as that. But
Trying to do pop those tricks, and then just you whack your ankle.
Yeah.
I think with like my one single, The Way, like I really think I see a theme of red in a lot of the music I'm releasing. So like a red car, definitely like a maybe a Ferrari, something like, definitely more vintage-esque. Like it was so cool.
Like this car in your.
I was gonna
video?
say. Man, my good friend Mike Palumbo, he let me borrow this really cool car it's from the 60s. I was like so
Best time for cars.
terrified to drive
It's a Mustang.
It's a Mustang. So I would say like a Mustang, yeah, a red Mustang. Like
Red
exactly
Mustang.
that car is what I see. Or like, that's kind of the music I'm putting out, but there's a lot of music that's not as like, I guess, provocative
Yeah.
and like sexy. It's like what I'm trying to go for. I
But it's
also
still
have
got
music.
a like vintage feel. No matter what you do, you do have that
Yeah.
like tinge to your voice.
Oh yeah.
From the artists I look up to. So like like definitely if like overall like that car, a red Mustang, and then maybe some of the songs I haven't released. I've always loved like a blue pickup truck. So I think some of my music has like that, like a, I don't know how to describe it, but like my music, like I really hope it could be like when people like are driving and then they want to pull over with like blankets and like lean on the like the back of the truck and they just lay down and look at the stars. Like half of my music I really want it to be that like intimate. So that's why I would put both of those. Like something really feisty, but something that's also very just comfortable and lighthearted in a way.
Cool. Nice. Okay.
That was a really good answer.
I like that answer. Very, very thoughtful. Question number 2. It's soup season. So I want to know what kind of soup it is. Soup season,
It's a
goddammit.
season?
It
It's a season?
is.
I've been
Fall
craving
and winter.
soup
Does
so
everything
much
have to have a
lately.
season now? Come on.
Well, you can have soup all year, all
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
But especially now, it's comforting to have some soup. So, what kind of soup would your music be paired well with?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I love that you're asking me this because I just have such a taste for, I don't know if we can like drop name brands.
Sure.
Can we?
I mean, I
Will
just
we
put
get
away a
sued?
Dunkin' cup.
But like
think we're
I
fine.
love Panera soups. I love broccoli cheddar. So that's like a personal
Ooh.
favorite of mine. But my music I feel like
Ooh.
has a little bit more
Yes.
spice than that.
Mm-hmm.
So my music I feel
Just
like
add some hot sauce.
has a that sounds disgusting.
American song.
Oh, man.
Just add some.
Maybe like a butternut squash then? Or
would say like, what would you guys say? Something that's really spicy.
Spicy.
It's really interesting because like my music
Except for Josh's ramen.
is very not like
That's
my personality, you know, sometimes. Like it's like a side of me, like my music, and like I don't think I'm like a spicy person. I'm not like that like confident. So like I'm trying to think of a soup that goes with my music rather than like my, because you know like my music is like a reflection of a part of myself but not like my whole self.
Of course.
So at least what I put out there. So I would say like as a person, like I would totally be like I said, like a broccoli cheddar soup, because I'm very cheesy. But my music, it has to be something spicy. So whatever you guys would say.
Do you want to do like, well, sometimes you're spicy and sometimes you're not, you said. So
yeah.
What I'm thinking of right now is like variations on like a thick tomato soup.
Yeah.
Some of them are like spicy
and it has the
and
red
peppers and stuff. Like I had a really good Trader Joe's spicy tomato red pepper soup once.
Ooh.
I was with you until the tomato part.
Oh man. Okay, what do you
I
think?
hate tomatoes.
Really?
Just me
Bitch.
personally. I'm not. Yeah. Well.
An Italian that hates tomatoes.
Are you so like against your own culture? Like is this an identity thing we should talk about?
A lot of it.
Do we need to turn this into a therapy session?
I just reject everything Italian.
I'm in psych. Like, I'm
sick of
totally
pasta,
analyzing
man.
you right now, for sure.
Pasta can just like go away. I'm so sick.
You don't like pasta? Not even like not red colored sauces. I guess like you know what I mean. Is that what it's called?
I can
like,
still get down with some Alfredo.
Yeah.
But
Like not red color.
only
I don't know.
only every now and then.
I'm not a chef. Like I
No.
can't like name food at all.
I'll take it
like,
back. I like tomatoes as like a topping, you know,
Yeah.
or like diced tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
You know? But like just baby tomatoes can get the hell away from me.
Yeah, I don't like
And
baby
anything
tomatoes. They make me a
tomato
little
flavored,
uncomfortable.
like those V8s and tomato soups, or like a Bloody Mary.
So I'm a huge grilled cheese fan, but I never had tomato soup with grilled cheese, and I know that's like
Is that a
probably
thing?
yeah. What? It's probably like
nice.
really offending to a lot of people, but like I've yet to try that. But
I think it's really good.
But I like the idea of having that red pepper. I think you said, or like yeah, I could totally see my
Trader Joe's.
songs have that element.
Trader Joe's.
Please sponsor me, Trader Joe's.
Look at her. She looks like she could be a Trader Joe's.
Yeah, that's true.
I embody Trader Joe's at all times.
She's a trader. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I don't know you that well. My friends and I who like Trader Joe's are Trader Hoes, but
Oh hell yeah.
yeah.
I would love to be part of your Trader Ho gang for sure.
I shouldn't say that.
They have
Adela,
the
did you just call our
best.
guest a hoe?
No, I accept it because
You're
Adela
so
can,
canceled.
Adela can call me anything. Adela, call me whatever you like. I love you so much.
No snap.
Literally.
Oh.
This is gonna get crazy.
All right, so
This is just
tomato,
between me and
red
her.
pepper. Yes, true. This is
Oh, I know. I wasn't about to call her like a, you know. Never mind.
So tomato red pepper soup. Question number 3, Dan, take it away.
Never mind. No, wait.
Oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared whenever he asks me
When
the
he
question.
giggles, you should be scared.
Oh gosh.
I don't mean it, like, I don't want it to put it in a negative light. More
Don't.
like a funny, comical thing. But
Do
if your
it.
music was like a swear or a cuss or like a
Ooh,
or some
okay.
kind of like profanity kind of
Oh hell yeah.
word, some vulgar, what would it be?
So like, definitely bitch.
That's totally, yeah.
For sure, because I feel like with the music I'm putting out there, like a lot of it draws from like me wanting to be like, this is who I am. This is like something that I probably wouldn't have done but when I was younger, but now I'm like, I'm older now, I'm a woman, I'm a bad bitch. Like that's kind of what I want people to hear.
Yeah.
Like even, you know, wherever you are on the gender spectrum, like I want people to hear this and embrace their sexuality and feel good in their body and also feel good just about themselves, period. So like I feel like bitch is like, I love that swear word because you can use it in so many ways.
It's my favorite swear word.
It's
other
my
than
favorite too.
The F-bomb, because that's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
that can be used so many different ways.
Bitch is kind of interesting because it's like it's changed so much nowadays. Like it's not a gender thing anymore. You can call anyone a bitch.
Oh, I do.
And you can do it like it's it's like it can be warm. It could be like you know.
Yeah, you can be a bad
you could
bitch.
be a bad bitch.
Like
Or
you
can
go
be
bitch, like
yeah.
you know, it can be like
or
that.
you could be like an awful person, you know. So.
Yeah, like I actually have a song called "Ain't It a Bitch" that like if that could just show you, like I love that word. That word it resonates really well.
I think this is a good transition to our first song.
Okay.
Of the episode. So well, let's sum up first. So if Demi Clara's music could be a car, it'd be either a red Mustang or a blue pickup truck. And in this red Mustang or blue pickup truck, you will be eating tomato red pepper soup. Yes. Please be careful, don't spill on yourself, that's hot. And then the third one... and you're gonna feel like a bad bitch.
Yes, like, because the last two songs are all about, you know, like, Kiss Me in the Way are all about, you know, it's just taking ownership of yourself. Like, I guess, like, not letting anyone... push you around and not like anyone make you feel you're less than. Like you are way more than enough. Yeah.
Also, it's like you know,
I love that
taking what you want and like saying this is what I want.
It's about like being forward and it's about you know being aggressive because I feel like a lot of people associate like you know people who are afraid to ask for what they want, like especially like women as like bitches. Like you know like when like maybe if a man did it, they would be seen as a boss. Like if a woman like were to be assertive.
I think you're looking for assertive, not aggressive. Because aggressive, well, maybe.
I think assertive is definitely a better word. I think aggressive, definitely not promoting any violence, but like aggressive in your life. I mean, like just you know being 1 foot ahead of yourself at all times and other people. And I think. That with that being said, I really hope this song makes people just feel really good about themselves and feel like they have control over their lives and over how they want to perceive how they want other people to perceive them because you know you have that right to just
be a bad bitch.
To be a bad bitch. So
you're listening to Ain't It a Bitch. I'm by Demi Clara.
On the Underbelly hours, in my basement, bitch. So, quick edit here. Sorry, guys. We goofed. We did a little goof. Ain't It a Bitch is not actually released yet, officially. But she does have another amazing song out called Kiss Me, and so we'll play that here now. You're listening to Kiss Me on the Underbelly hours.
In his basement.
Kiss me like you mean it. Touch me like you already have it. Hold me like you won't regret it. Love me like you don't. Love me like you don't. Hate it. Your stare is magnetic. It pulls me in over again. Your
Demi in general, you have, 2 singles out right now? The Way and Kiss Me. Do you have anything bigger coming up in the works, or are you just planning on just dropping singles for a while? And
I've been going back and forth about that because I feel like I would love to put out an EP or an album. It's just so much of our climate is surrounded by people who want to put out singles, like, because that is, I guess, about the immediate gratification kind of thing. Like, I think people, when they put out singles like that, the singles get more attention and they statistically do better on streaming services. Albums take a little while, I feel like, for people to warm up and, like, you know, have that consistent listening experience. So I would love to do an album one day, but it would be really cool to just put out more singles as well, because I feel like they become their own entity and people give them more attention. But so I do have a song I've been working on with Sound Summit Studios. We were about to master it, but I'm a very I guess, what's the word? I try to be confident, but I am a very, like, indecisive person. So, like, there's certain, you know, decisions I made. I'm, like, not, like, okay, is this the right thing? Like, I'm, like, overthinking it a lot. I feel like a lot of musicians struggle with that. Like, when they're about to, like, release it or master it, they're like, wait, because this is going to be how it is for as long as you want, unless you re-record it. So,
well, you could go the Kanye route and just, like, re-upload every month with different mixes.
I definitely could. I mean, I would love...
No kind.
Yes, I would love to embody and do that. If I had the money, I totally probably would do that.
It's
just
just
different versions.
Yeah, really quickly, he
dropped
legally
the con?
changed his name.
God, I'm so old.
It's okay.
I
don't get it either.
I just...
I wish I could just be me.
Where did I miss
Just
that? Me. Hey.
Nah, who needs the debt? It's just
Me.
No debt. Just me. Bitch.
Bitch, right.
That's probably what I would do if I were Kanye West. I could do that. But
It's me.
if I
In any
had
case,
the opportunity, like, to re-record, like I would totally re-record Kiss Me for sure. But I guess,
Really?
like, now that I'm good, because there's some parts of it I'm not, like, you know, it's so interesting because it's only, you know, a year old. It, like, came out in 2020, but I'm like, there's certain parts I'm like, I should have done this differently. Even The Way, there's certain parts I'm like, because, like, I love everything that the producer did and my band did. It's just vocally, I'm like, I could have changed it up. But that's how the song sounds in the moment, especially a lot of the times. I usually just do, for those songs, I think I just did one vocal session. So that literally is how I sounded in that moment, on that day. So I think there's something special of that. But I'm a perfectionist. So there's certain things with this next single that I just want to, like, perfect in my mind, because I think it's going to be different than the other ones for people to hear. I guess I put out a lot of baby making music. This is according to others, but, like, this is going to be more I guess the song is called Eulogy, so it's, you know, it's death, basically.
Not
It's not
baby
probably
making.
opposite, right?
Yeah, like,
End of life.
I mean, it could be sexy.
Hey, girl,
death,
wanna
I
get
don't
it on?
know. Sexy
Yeah,
death.
sure. Let's put on some tunes.
Let's put on Eulogy.
No, it's a little different.
I mean, someone's doing that, I'm sure. But...
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
dark gothic freaks and just
I don't know
surround
if
ourselves
that's
with
the
death.
kink I want to be associated with. I don't know exactly, but
Hey, you can't
that's
control
on.
how other people interpret your music. It's just once you put it out there,
They
it's
own
out
it
there.
at that point.
And I kind of want to go back to that idea you're talking about
I kind of want to go back to the idea of, you know, making babies to eulogies.
No.
Fascinating concept. I think we're on the verge of discovering something really big here.
No.
The next big market.
No, I was gonna go back to, because I thought it was interesting that you pointed out, like, you got kind of hooked into this idea of, like, re-recording and being like, you know, I'm not quite happy with the way that, you know, I recorded things, even though I was feeling it in the moment. I mean, but I get the feeling that you're also a songwriter, though, who changes it up when she goes live, though, right? I think that's a really, like, you know, I mean, the way you record it on one day is the way that you record it on one day, but the way that a song can like stay alive and relevant in people's minds is if you do cool things with it each time you perform it live, or like, you know, do your own spin on it, whatever. So
it's very interesting because a lot of these songs I've had for a couple of years, like Eulogy, and The Way, I've had for like 2 or 3 years. So I definitely could see how they have evolved over time, like in tempo, changing that up, also adapting with my band because they're jazz musicians. So like I have been experimenting with my music to go from like a singer-songwriter sound to go to more of like what they are trained in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the songs itself, like they've been on a journey, and I love being able to perform them live because then I could try out any version in my head, because especially a lot of the times there's new people at my shows, so they've never heard it.
Right.
So I think that's how exciting it is. That's why it's such a thrill. It's so exciting because a song can be anything it wants to be if you just try it out. Like I think a lot of times people get stuck in, you know, the idea that it has to sound so similar every time, like, you know, it has to be consistent, which I can understand that too. Mm-hmm. But like I think there is room for musicians to take risks with their own music and you know, and not get in a fixed mindset. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of times, like maybe musicians, like not even just with one song, but with their general sound, you know, they want to put themselves in like a box, and they want it, you know, they want to appeal to this group of people so bad that they end up, you know, sacrificing what they want.
Out there right now.
Yeah.
What they want.
That was a really nice sound.
I feel like I'm in a hypnotic state. I don't know. That was really.
It was like the little gong. Right now, meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put yourself in an empty space.
I feel like we should be doing yoga right now or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm in.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah.
Affirming our bandhas or whatever yoga people say. But
Right.
I was
Did
gonna
you just
say.
insult me?
No. I feel like people, like, when they want to cater to a certain genre, you know, they limit themselves. So like a lot of my songs, I feel like I've balanced different genres, but it's just because, you know, I am young and I'm really enjoying experimenting with my own sound. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's the joy of live performance. Mm-hmm. Is it can become something, you know, totally different, or it can be an extension of something that, you know, you can't always put in the recording because you have a time limit at, you know, for certain songs to be successful. You don't want to go a lot of times like 10-minute, even though Taylor Swift just did her 10-minute All Too Well song, which was amazing. I love her. But you know I love performing because my bands can take those solos, and we can take those long instrumental breaks, and it can just grow as a song. And so that's what I love about music, is that it can become whatever it wants.
100% agree. I think the majority of people in the audience do actually appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a very small like section of genres or music where people go and they want it to be exactly what it is on the album, and those are the bands that usually play to click tracks and you know, backing tracks, and they can't diverge from the recording and stuff, which, I mean, it has its place, you know, but especially with your kind of music, and you know, it's a lot more organic. People appreciate those differences because then it's a specific special experience that they're hearing live with you at your concert. And that makes it even more of a cool, memorable experience for them, because, you know, if you're just going to see the band play just the recording live, it's like, oh, yeah, they were good, they were tight, yay. But then if you were to switch it up and you do a different, like, you know, you do some crazy melismas on this chorus, and you, like, switch up the melody a little bit, or, you know, there's these extended instrumental breaks, people will remember that. It's like, oh yeah, do you remember when we saw it? Like, yeah, that song was so much cooler live, or whatever. Or like,
it doesn't have to be super extreme changes. It's just like the slight variations is what I like to do vocally. Right. You know, like maybe at the end of the chorus, I'll sing it in a different like a higher register, or I know my band specifically in Kiss Me at the end we do a stop, like little things that people aren't going to expect.
Right.
It can keep it more exciting for the audience member, because personally when I go to a shows I don't want to hear exactly what I'm hearing when I listen to the album. I want something to stand out, and also I love shows where artists are not afraid to do that. I like artists who are daring in that way. So.
And I feel like a lot of the times those little differences and additions or variations on the song that you maybe wish you had on the recording originally, those are usually, at least in my experience, I feel like those usually come out of a live setting anyways. Like, you discover those cool new things when performing live. So then, and you know, just that's just how the song is growing. Like, a song is never like finished per se, quote unquote finished. You know, it's always,
even when it's recorded.
Yeah, right. It's always still has room to grow in the live space. Like,
I think like we honestly forget sometimes as musicians that, I mean, when I think back to poetry, when people write poetry and they speak it out loud, it changes every single time it's performed.
Yeah.
And songs are the same way. Songs are written and they're recorded and they're cast in the moment that they're, you know, recorded in, but then they can be interpreted, and they should be interpreted and allowed to be interpreted differently depending on what your mental headspace is at the time that you're performing it today. You know, you're going to be a different person. The song that you wrote 2 years ago doesn't mean the same thing to you back then as it does now necessarily. Yeah. So
also the song probably means something completely different to people in the audience.
Exactly.
And that was not like your meaning when writing it, but they discovered their own meaning, which is why I love kind of like, you know, a little bit more not obscure, obtuse lyrics.
Obtuse.
Abstract. That's the word.
Yeah, obtuse.
You know, a little bit more ambiguous. Where it's like, this can mean a couple different things.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, people find their own meanings depending on what they interpreted that inflection of that phrase to be. Exactly. It's like, oh, that sounded more actually bittersweet to me. And the writer was like, no, that's supposed to be super happy, I guess.
But I kind of want to, since we're talking about like this idea of like, you know, trying things out differently live and having the freedom to like, you know, record and not feel like you're stuck in a box necessarily, I kind of want to talk about your musical upbringing and also just like what your role is right now as a musician, because you play music and you perform out, but you're not just a musician, right? You're also in school, you're a radio host,
an artist,
and you're also a radio host. You're also studying.
Don't forget bad bitch.
And a bad bitch. Sorry, of course. Bad bitch.
Oh, I hope I don't sound like so like.
No.
What's the word? Egotistical.
Yeah, Demi, you're coming off as super, you know.
Oh, man.
Actually, Demi, you're kind of coming off as like a real bitch. I had to break it to you, though. We should probably tone this down.
You know, but going back to the idea of, you know, you're a musician, but you're also a radio host, and you're studying music therapy, correct? I'm
studying psychology, but I'm definitely looking into like going into expressive arts therapy. Something tying in both things that I love, which is the arts and of course helping people and talking with people. So
why?
It's a lot going on right now with school
for sure.
and work and music for sure.
But you're very passionate in talking about your music and the way you perform. You're very passionate on stage too. So why the choice to go and get a degree in specifically like psychology and do more of the therapy route instead of just going and doing music full time? I'm curious.
Yeah, I try to wear many hats, but I feel like they're all related in what like my overall message and my overall like goal is for myself. I just want to have people connect with me. It's all about connection. I just want people to feel like, you know, they are being heard and that, you know, there is someone out there going through something similar, or, you know, it might not even be the same experience, but the same feeling. I definitely have been, you know, through some tough times over the years, and music is an outlet for me, not just to help other people, but to help myself too. So I see that even if I don't pursue music full-time professionally, it's always going to be intertwined with what I do because mental health is something I'm so passionate about, and through music I talk about my own mental health, but I also would like to learn about other people's experience with mental health. So I guess I want to be a therapist because I'm curious to learn more about people. I think psychology was the best route for me because not only, is it fascinating to learn about human behavior and cognitions, but it's also something that really improves me as a person because, we learn from each other. We're all one and the same in a sense. So I didn't choose music full time because I think there's other avenues that I must go on, but
and that degree is useless.
Psychology or music?
No, just a music degree.
Oh no, I totally would have if I could double major. I would love to. I know I am
I'm
not.
just teasing.
I
Not
just
really,
know. I can understand.
really
A lot of people have
depends.
said that.
Well,
a lot of my friends have said that
really
they felt it was useless.
It depends on what you want to do, because for most people it's not going to be. I mean, you can get the same musical education and a better, I'd argue, almost musical education by just putting
On
yourself.
YouTube.
Well, and by putting yourself out there.
No,
and
seriously,
you know,
no, just
going
get out
out,
Yeah.
trying to book shows, trying to understand music from different angles.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I could see how like music full time could be so beneficial because doing it full time would have me improve because I definitely have a lot of room to grow, but I know that I wouldn't be fulfilled if I didn't at least try becoming an advocate or someone that worked in the mental health field because I've always thought that was a part of my calling because of my own experiences. But I definitely don't want to stop doing music and putting music out there. I would love to find a job that will allow me to fulfill my other passion, which is to perform and to help people in that way, because I feel like therapists and musicians have so many similarities. Like especially people who put out their own music is you're helping the collective healing. So
And both usually need a therapist themselves.
That's true.
yes,
Yeah.
everyone, the therapist needs a therapist.
That's
Everyone, if you don't have an access to a therapist, which I know it can be very financially daunting, at least going online and looking for resources. So many mental health providers have hotlines. I love NAMI. That's one of my favorite organizations. And even if you're struggling but you don't have the financial resources, doesn't mean you can't get help. So I totally, I always like to say everyone who can have a therapist should try to have one. But if you just physically cannot, you're not helpless, you're not alone, because there's so many avenues people can take to better their mental health.
This would have been a great segue if we were sponsored by BetterHealth.com.
That's true.
Oh, I
I
don't know
I
that
see
one.
so many
There's
of
so many
those
ads of those
yeah.
coming out, and I'm like,
Right.
maybe we should
I
get
don't
in
know if
on
I
that.
know that one. I gotta look into it.
It's interesting.
It's
Yeah.
all like video calls, I think.
Yeah, it's teletherapy.
Teletherapy.
Okay.
They ran into some controversy a while ago, but
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay.
Who hasn't run into controversy
That's
in this
true.
day and age?
Are they licensed therapists?
That was the controversy.
If-
Some of their therapists may not have been licensed.
Oh,
Their clinicians weren't official clinicians.
As long as they
licensed by
have
the
that
ABA.
education, because it's such a delicate thing.
Right.
It's the same thing with having a physician. If they mess up, it can be detrimental. And
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
yeah, if they give you the
Mental
wrong
health's very
medication
important.
or if they give you the wrong advice, it's the same with therapists. If they are not handling emotions delicately, that can be super controversial.
And-
Go for it.
One last note on that is if anyone is trying to seek out therapists and stuff, and you don't like the one that you landed on, keep shopping around.
Yeah.
Because it's not
Yes.
doesn't mean that the therapy's bad or it's not working for you. It's probably just because you have a crappy therapist.
Or just, you don't click with your therapist.
There's some bad therapists out there too.
I shouldn't say love. I really take amusement though from TikTok videos where people talk about therapists, because being like shitty, because I think it's terrible, but I think people make such great humor out of it, like you know, like TikTok. I love dark humor, so
Same.
I especially as someone that has mental health issues, I totally like I use humor as a coping mechanism, so I love when other people do so as well. So there's been so many videos about people talking about awful experiences with therapists, so it just shows you, like, you know,
They're human too.
there's a lot of, you know, flawed people in the practice, like there is in any practice. So
There's
just
bad mechanics.
Yeah.
There's bad doctors. There's bad
Everyone.
everyone.
Bad radio
Don't-
hosts.
don't-
Bad radio.
No, not at all. Not at all. You guys are one of the best of the best. You guys are one of the best of the best. You guys, honestly, you guys inspire me to be better on air, because you guys have such just a wonderful way of communicating with each other. Your chemistry is fantastic. No, it's hilarious. It's enjoyable. It really is. But also, like, you guys have really interesting questions. You guys have really great avenues taking conversations too. I really admire what you guys do. So, but with that
That
being
was the
said,
soup question.
it was the soup question that really got me. But with that being said, I think it is very important people know that, you know, it's not end all be all with one therapist. You know, if you feel like your needs aren't getting met, it's like any relationship. You know, don't stick in it because that's what you're used to, or you're scared to find something else. So. Yeah.
Nice. Let's pick it back up again by throwing in The Way.
Yeah.
The song The Way that we've been talking about. It's a great tune. Let's take a listen. You're listening to The Way by Demi Clara on
The Underbelly hours in my basement. Bitch.
Every time.
Every time.
I like the way you breathe when you're on top of me. Each heart to the next degree burns like
have to. I don't know. I'm just gonna give you credit for this coinage of this term. It's a bop.
Oh my gosh, I love that I taught you that.
I use it like too often now. I'll say something like, "Yo, it's a bop."
When I turned
And then people
22, Dan, so my boyfriend Joseph Brunker, who's in the band Purple Moon, check him out. He made me a book of a bunch of musicians. Listen to Primal Moon. Made a book of a bunch of people that he was able to contact, saying nice things about me, and that was one of the things Dan said was I tell him that word,
Oh,
and that
that's
was
right.
like
You did hit me up about
that made me so happy. I read it, I was like, I have made an impact on this world.
I've taught one person how to say that's
It's a bop.
It's a bop.
Thank you for saying that. I'm really glad people are resonating with it.
It's just a fun way
word.
to describe a jam.
Good jam.
You know? It's a
Well,
bop.
speaking of jams though, like, do you? Because you mentioned that you're singer-songwriter, right? And you've recently started working with a band and stuff.
Yeah.
As a listener, when you're listening to the dynamic of your band, it feels like everything's very like a little bit like free form. Like people are kind of improvising, people are kind of bouncing off each other. It's got like that kind of like loose feel in terms of like structure. Like they're just kind of
Jazz
going.
players.
Yeah,
well,
they're jazzy.
It sounds great. So I'm wondering, like, do you guys, when you get together to work on a song, as somebody who used to just perform by yourself, do you just kind of jam out with them, or how does that structure work? And how did you meet your band too? I'm curious.
Yeah. So it is definitely very different than, being by myself, because, you have to be considerate of, way more considerate of your own timing. I'm really bad.
As the front woman, theoretically,
As
they
a
have to
front
be
woman,
careful of what
they gotta
you're doing.
cover you.
I really struggle with the metronomes. I gotta get better at that. But they have made me way better at being more conscious of my timing. And I feel like they are just so smart, so much smarter than me. I mean, you gotta like work with musicians that are better than you, because it makes you,
Don't inflate their egos too much.
I'm
They're
inflating
al-
their
they're
egos.
Jazz guys already
they're
have
jazz.
big egos.
Yeah.
They just teach
Careful.
me so much about music theory. They teach me so much because they're also more experienced, because they're older than me, so they have been in the music scene longer, and playing their instrument longer. So I just love learning from them. But I really enjoy playing with the band because it is a great way just to like let out like certain feelings, like because let out some just angst sometimes, some like pure joy, just like any feelings that are in me, like when we jam and we are improvising everything, like lyrically I could just like spit what I'm thinking in my head, and it's so therapeutic. So I love being able to improv with them. But a lot of my songs I have had for a couple of years, so the last couple I have written the main structure and I give it to them, and then they just make it so much better. and so that's kind of how it happens. I'll teach them like the chord progression I wrote. Sometimes they make variations of it. And
they're always going to be throwing in those diminished flat fives.
like there's so many chords I didn't know about, like so many like names,
That crunch.
so many like
It's
different
pretty hot,
elements
though, I'm
that make
It's
it
nice.
that just make it sound like so, like they can take some of my 4-chord songs and like add like cool like overtones to
Some
it.
paprika,
Yeah.
More tritones.
Yes. Oh my God, tritones. Yes. But yes, they definitely make it spicier for sure. They and I think it's really cool because sometimes I have like, okay, I can hear it in my head, but as someone that's I'm still I would say like a beginner, like going towards like intermediate, I guess, like I'm still trying to perfect my guitar skills and just my ear, and in my head I'll think of like there's this sound and then they just know it, and I'm like, okay. Like it's like you can like really just take my vision and make it come to life, put it on paper, and it's so cool. It's so surreal having my songs go from me playing them at coffee shops, like playing the couple chords, and sometimes they come from a more slower pace, like the way or eulogy, the one we're coming out, it was like so much more drawn out, and they've just made it a dance anthem. I just told them, I'm like, let's try it, different tempos, and then they did it, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear it because it's definitely way more upbeat than like my other songs.
Now that
So
you
that's
have
awesome.
a band, do you see yourself starting to write more with them? Or are you still going to probably do you like, I mean, in which, either way is valid. Do you like bringing like a skeleton to them and just having them fill it out? Or are you thinking maybe soon it'll be time for all of us to just sit together and be like, hey, we're feeling sad today. Let's jam on like sad things and figure it out. You know what I mean?
Like starting it from the bottom.
From the bottom with the band.
I am so open to both. I think there's so many songs I know I just want to put out there that I have already written that I just want to like embellish and have them, make it their own first. But I'm so open for us to, literally just sit down and someone starts playing chords and then I build off of them, because I think that's a great way for me to grow as an artist. And I'm so happy that they are willing to do both. They really want to hear what I put out like there in my concerts and my shows, my solo stuff. They take interest, and it makes me feel important, and I love that they want to hear these songs that have been brewing for years, and they want to resurrect them. And because sometimes like a song dies out, and then you because you grow mentally and you start writing other songs. But it's really cool that they want to hear my past as well as my present, because I think they both tell important stories, and they both should be recorded. So, and then I'm really excited because, right now I know it's hard for us to meet and stuff. So, because we're all like they're professional musicians, so they have other opportunities to perform, and I know my guitarist Ed is in college, but right now we haven't been able to meet, but I'm excited for hopefully coming up this like winter break. It'd be really nice just to maybe just get together and start a song from scratch, because I haven't done that in a long time. So
It's really cool that they enjoy going back to your like old catalog and pulling songs from that, because you never know what you have just in the past that could be could be your biggest hit. Like
they revamp it, like "Ain't It a Bitch," which I know you guys will have heard. "Ain't It a Bitch," which you guys have heard. I started off to be more of like I don't know how to describe it, Southern. I'm from Plainfield, so I'm not Southern at all. But like, something like more just like roots music. Very like holler and stomp kind of stuff. And then they turned it into like a whole jazz thing. They really like to jazzify things, so I think that's something that I'm open to it. So like because
Blessing and a curse.
Because a recording is how it will be, one version of the song, like we talked about earlier. So I can always record my songs in different styles, but perform something totally different. So I love that they bring themselves to it. Right. And you asked how I met them. I actually met them from open mic night, which is really
cute.
Cool. Open mic nights are great. Open mic nights are wonderful because it gives an opportunity.
Love humanity again.
Yeah,
like you see people like just. Well, I think for most part, because even if people, I just love the fact that literally anyone could show up to this thing. You don't have to be a musician, you know. And I love that. It's just people being there and enjoying songs,
I've been to some really amazing open mics, and I've been to some pretty terrible open mics, and that's not saying that, like, if somebody's a beginner and messing up, that it's a bad open mic. No, I mean, that's kind of the purpose. It's it's usually like, the vibe that's being put off by the people running it. If they're having a little bit of a snooty
space.
Little bit.
I don't like those either. I have to be like, full of people who are willing
open mic
to learn from each other.
Open.
Yes. Be
so
open with each other.
Shut the Let
there
people
is a
play
lot
what
of
they
people
want.
who are hot-headed, like that, forget, what, we all should be humble because there's always going to be someone that's better than us.
Yeah.
And the people that you feel that that aren't worthy of playing on the same stage with you, they are worthy because they're a musician and they bring something different to the table and they
Right.
matter, even if you feel like their skill set isn't
Well,
isn't
and you can
the
help
same.
them learn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I remember
People
Victor
need to
Wooten,
put it aside, their
the
egos.
man, the myth, the legend, had an amazing
We love.
little talk that I was able to experience live, and he was saying, like, one of the main things he teaches in his, like, little nature classes, so like these base camps that
I
they just,
love it.
like, go out in nature and, like, just kind of be all hippie and
I
become
would
one with the
love
earth.
to do something like that.
But he said that one of the key points that he tries to teach people is that, music is a language, and you can't just learn the language practicing it by yourself. Like, you can practice all you want in your room and become like this really, like, all the words, but do you know how to speak it?
Yeah.
And you won't learn that until you actually go out and try and speak it with people. And I think that's, that's the difference between taking 2 years to learn, become proficient at music, to like 6 months.
Right.
If you just throw yourself into the culture and the language and people who speak it fluently, you'll learn it so much faster than just studying it from a book and learning the vocab. And so, like, that's why it's so
Immersion's
cool.
the way to do it.
Like the Valley Doyle's open mics.
Yeah.
That to me seems like a pretty open one where they like invite people on. And like
Like
I was on it.
Summit.
Yeah, I was on at one point, and I was like, oh man, these people know how to play. I just know the pentatonic scales. I'll try and something. But it's just throwing yourself into the weeds, and you just start learning
By doing.
by like hearing what they're doing and riffing off of them, and then you're like, oh, okay, I think I know what's coming. And then it just kind of becomes like internal. You almost just like, it's just coming out of you. You're like, where's this coming
Surround
from? It's like
yourself
you're
with
just
people who are
learning
better
the
than
language,
you.
man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you can take these open mics for what you make out of it. Like, you take it for your own experience, but you can also take it to impact someone else's experience, and you want it to be positive. Like, don't have an attitude that's gonna turn them away from music. Like, people don't realize how impactful their presence can be towards others, and it's just frustrating when people like come in and they have that attitude, because like you were saying, like, music is a conversation, it can't be one-sided. So don't have that closed mindset, So I love open mics because when they are full of positive, humble, just kind people, that's how you're gonna get the most of it, because it's always exciting to go to an open mic and meet a new person and learn from them. I learned from these guys, so that's how we met at open mic a couple of years ago at Empire when they had their open mic in Naperville, and they became some of my closest friends over the last couple of years because they're nice to me, and kindness can go such a long way, and they persuaded me to keep doing music. So don't be someone that hinders another person's journey.
And we're talking about like open jams a little bit more specifically, but even just like a tried and true traditional open mic where there's not as much like sharing the stage and you're just going up, that's still also like an amazing space to learn, because you can just get inspired by the process. You see all these different skill levels. You'll see a beginner going up there just wanting to learn like the 3 pop songs they just learned, their first 3 songs on the guitar, and it'll be rough. They might not have the chords down perfectly, and
I've been there
But
for
also,
sure.
but it's like you see them starting out, and that can be a humbling experience for somebody just starting out, and you see like maybe the middle stage, the intermediate stage,
And then you see the experts too.
and then you see the experts, and it's like, it's really cool, and you can get like, I guess, discouraged by it, but I feel like it's just so much easier to, when you see all the experience levels, to be encouraged to like, oh, I can get there.
And also at the end of the day, just to remember that music is an experience that we are all allowed to have as humans, and we need to express ourselves in some way, artistically, creatively. So I don't think, you know, skill set has anything necessarily to do with that. If you want to express yourself, sure, like maybe you don't pay $50 to go see somebody who's just starting out, you know, like, but like that's why open mics exist, so that we can all be there in that space and just be human, express ourselves, you know.
Everyone
in an
deserves
age,
that.
right? In an age where we're constantly comparing, we have all these talent shows, we have all these things that convince us that art's a competition when it's not. So,
Yeah, no.
I think that's so important that you know, that comparison mindset is
Thanks, social media.
is changed.
Also,
because
like America's Got Talent, The Voice, all these other
it's
shit,
instilled
you
in
know?
us that we're
But
supposed
there's
to
never
beat each
been
other.
there's never been a more in-your-face number attached to it now than ever. I mean, you had like the Billboard charts, but like nobody knew exactly how much
Well, no,
that was
but
selling.
then-
You just knew placement in comparison to
Right.
what else was popular, and also that was just like what was making it on the radio.
Exactly.
You didn't see, you know, how many people bought the independent band's record from that town,
Yeah.
which now you do see that, and it kind of sucks. I think it's a
Right.
bad
I don't
thing.
like that music goes
it's,
towards that direction.
Yeah.
I think it's really bad for everything to have a number assigned to it on social media, on Spotify, like seeing the play counts, the stream counts, the monthly listeners, because that can be, it's just so
It's
bad.
unnecessary.
It's so irrelevant
It's unnecessary.
to the music, but because
People who hyper focus on that, like
Yeah.
people who won't hire other
Well,
because
artists
based on
and-
their follower count.
yeah, artists and audience alike. I mean, I remember an experience where, you know, somebody was asking me about my music, and it was at a time where I had kind of stopped promoting the last release I had, just because I was like, I got new stuff coming out. I'm not really liking what it's just there, you know.
Yeah.
I put it out
It's
for
there.
representation.
Yeah.
It's there, but I wasn't really talking it up because I wasn't that proud of it at the end. But so when you're not promoting something, nobody's listening to it, so you have like 10 monthly listeners or whatever. But then a random Joe Schmo asks like, oh yeah, you know, you got any music on Spotify? I'm like, yeah, and they check it out, and they like literally laughed that it only had 10 monthly listeners. I'm like, okay, cool,
I'm not gonna do the thing I was gonna do.
thanks. Like,
Yeah.
you could just listen to the song too to see if it's like,
No,
there's
numbers
just
mean
because-
shit.
yeah, just because.
Mm.
And then you know,
That
on
pisses me
on the
off.
versus side of that, I've seen local people with like in the thousands, 20,000s, and it's
No.
hot garbage.
Yeah.
It's
And
shite.
they're still in the same boat as all of us, still trying
Right.
to fight for gigs. It's like numbers,
Yeah,
or they're inflated with like how, you know, so much of it is just
Sometimes
the
it's luck,
algorithm
too.
being not on your side,
such
and
luck too.
Yeah.
it's luck. And I was gonna say, was that another musician that like made you feel good?
No,
So like I just hope
No, that's what I
musicians
think-
don't lead with that
well,
mentality.
that's what I think is the giant problem, is that now the listenership, the general audience, whatever your target market is, genre you're trying to get into, the culture of the world now is so numbers based,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
people assign value or quality
Yeah, value.
to
I think is a good
that number, and it's like it's
No, it's not.
killing, you know, local indie artists, because I mean, think about all the talented people that just kind of gave up because they couldn't get
Right.
enough traction in the giant. I mean,
Some of
there's
the-
so much out there too,
Yeah.
which also doesn't help. It's just like it's a colossal fucking
Well,
shitstorm of
that's why
problems right
hopefully-
now in music, which is, I mean, I guess what we're trying to do is
Right.
highlight what we think needs
To be
more
highlighted.
more ears on it. Get,
Yeah.
you know, this is amazing stuff. It doesn't matter if this person's just starting out, where it's like, oh, they only have like 20 monthly listeners, they can't be good. It's like, no,
No.
they're amazing, go check them out. Bring up the monthly listener count if that's such a big stupid deal
You
to you.
guys don't. That's why you guys don't look at the followers before asking someone to come on. Like,
No,
you guys,
No, we don't give
it's
a shit.
bullshit.
I was just saying, you guys look at the people and
I mean, listen to their music and
what they put out there.
yeah.
And I think that's so important that, you know, more people lead with that mentality, because, you know, I rather than have like 1,000 monthly listeners, I'd rather have a couple people at my show, like people I can interact with, people that I see. You know, I think that is what matters more to me, is that physical presence, you know, of real people, because so much of the time people literally like pay for the numbers to go up.
And then that's the fucking worst.
But what is that helping in the long run? Like that's not authentic. You want people who are generally enjoying your music and giving you real feedback, because that's real connection. And I look at my numbers though, and I fall in the trap where I feel bad about myself after. It's happened to so many of my friends too who are in music who obsess over it.
Every artist, every musician has done that.
Yeah.
They look at the numbers and they kind of get bummed out, and it's like,
that's why places like Bandcamp are really nice too, because I mean, this place you can just buy music, you can listen to music. It doesn't show you how many people are following this person. It doesn't show you who, like, the likes or dislikes on an album or whatever the fuck. It's just the music that's there. And also,
the company helps the musicians actually get paid too, right?
Yeah. And like things like our showcase, not to toot our own horn, but like where we're doing things consistently in one place where we showcase live music, where hopefully people will start to come out and realize, oh, if I want to discover a local music, I know every third Saturday we have some great local music that's going to come through here. Or like Uncommon Ground in Chicago. I toot their horn a lot too, because they also, I mean, you know, sometimes, like, depending on who's booking there, I think sometimes they can get into the numbers game, but lately I've noticed, I mean, they book people who are like, somebody who's like 20 followers and someone who's got like 20,000 followers, you know, on Instagram. They don't care, they just book people who are good.
I love them in the scene. I love their stages. I love the intimacy. I definitely recommend Uncommon Ground.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get like an audience to get to shows and actually get invested in local music and discover local musicians and have that interest, well, you gotta have consistency, but more importantly, consistency and quality. And sometimes consistency and quality is not consistency in like numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So go support people who deserve it. Go give people a chance. Go to the local open mics that are nice, and the showcases as well. I think, Demi, we told your mom an hour, and it's been like an hour and a half.
Oh, it's okay. I told her around an hour.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that we were cool with that.
Yeah.
And I also think, I mean, would you like to promote, or is there any shows, since we're on shows, any shows you have coming up or anything like that?
Yeah. I have a wonderful opportunity to open for Primal Moon. Me and Brad Bradlick, one of my favorite musicians in the scene. He has such a cool country swag to him. I love what he's doing. We're both opening for Primal Moon for their release show. It's going to be this coming Sunday, the 21st of November. It's going to be in the Fox Valley Mall at Comedy Shrine, and they're going to have some comedians there too, so it's going to be super fun. They wouldn't let me do stand-up, sadly, even though I'm hilarious, obviously. I would kill it. I would be killed. But I'm really excited. I believe it starts around like 5:36. And it's just gonna be super fun to support Primal Moon with how they just put out their EP, and yeah, I'll be doing like a 30-minute set, so you guys should come out. Nice. It's free. You have to buy like 2 drinks because you want to support the local venue.
That's usual with comedy places, I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's usually like a 2-drink minimum.
And it doesn't have to be alcoholic. It could be a good soda pop. Soda pop. But come out on November 21st at the Comedy Shrine in Aurora around 5.
Cool. Is there anything you want to plug about Local Chaos too?
Yeah, I love everything I do there because it gives me an opportunity to make some new friends, make connections with other local businesses and local musicians and artists. Local Chaos is a show that is all about supporting our community, because the arts is the foundation of our community. So we are every Sunday from 8 to 10 p.m. on FM 89.1 FM. You can go on iHeart and look up FM 89 too, and so you can listen on your phone. And it's so fun because I get to interview people as well, like you guys. I learned a lot from Underbelly Hours over the years. But
Oh boy.
I love everything you guys do. Really.
Learn from our mistakes.
No, I love everything you guys do. But I have a lot of fun being able to just talk with people and learn from them, and it's a really great opportunity to shed a light on the amazing things happening in the Chicagoland area. So support local everything, because that is the best of the best of Chicago is our music scene. I mean, honestly, that's one reason why I don't think I would want to leave Illinois.
That's the only reason why I'm still here.
Yeah, for a lot of us, it is the music scene in Chicago, the art scene. It's incredible. So.
Boom.
Great. Well, then go follow Demi Clara. What's your handle on all social medias?
It is Demi Clara Music at whatever, Instagram, Facebook as well. So, and I post on there about like upcoming releases, and I like sometimes fangirl over like artists I love, like Glenn Hansard. I know me and Adela will be going to the show coming up very soon. And Taylor Swift. So you can learn more about some of my musical inspirations. And you can also learn about like just generally what I'm up to, like where I'm going to be performing and when I'm going to be releasing my own tunes. So yeah, you can follow for sometimes funny content. Funny because it makes people uncomfortable, maybe. I don't know. Quirky funny because sometimes I like post stupid stuff on my stories. So yeah.
Nice. Great. And if you want to follow more, if you want to find out more about local music, if you like interviews, if you like live shows, if you like little behind the scenes things at festivals, well, follow us. We're at the Underbelly Hours on all social media platforms. We also are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google doesn't have any podcasts anymore, so not that one, but Stitcher, and Ox Chicago, of course, which is our lovely, lovely, like, parent podcast thing that releases everything to all the streaming platforms for us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on. I think it's been a lot of fun.
In honor of Kiss Me, Dan is gonna give us his best kissy face.
Channel your early 2000s.
Channel your duck face.
Ooh. Yes.
Yes. And with that,
that's a bad bitch right there.
you're Dan.
And you're Adela.
This has been another episode of the Underbelly Hours.
In my basement.
Boy!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, it's the boy. All sorts of things are happening on the show today.
So, yeah, welcome to the show.
Oh, it'll be a good time.
If you like what you hear,
Are you ready?
you can find us on Underbelly Hours,
All sorts of
on all the socials, where you get your favorite local takes on the local greats.
Here it comes, ready? Sing it with us.